Hi, can you hear me?
Say again?
Can you hear me? Is it
Yep.
clear? Okay, all right, good, all right, great. All right.
Good.
So Victor should be coming up. It's, so just before the Victory comes, I guess any feedback from yesterday and where we're
Uh,
heading towards.
I think I think having something like that mobile app is a very good idea. It focuses the what do you call it? It's a very clear and very measurable goal to have. So yeah, I think that's a
Okay,
great
okay.
idea.
All right, good. All right, glad that you support that because it's
Well,
I think it's it's not the typical approach, I guess, to do research. It's a more implementation oriented, but I think this is also now in my own experience. I think having that kind of actual implementation goals would really help to, as you said, focus the implementation efforts. And in
I
fact,
think
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, because I think if you have like a spatial pub sub system, right? Because I mean, it's similar to the existing pub subsystems that we have. So I think without a working real implementation, I think people will say, okay, yeah, sure, you've got this idea which you've simulated, but does it actually work when you deploy it on a in a real
Yes.
environment? I think so. That's why I say no. Go for the real implementation with the real system. I think
Right. That's true. That's
that
true.
just that just adds evidence to yes, it does actually work. So yeah, no.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Okay. All right. Okay. So if that's the consensus, then I do have another thing to ask the
Mhm.
feedback, which is I'm thinking about using the how we run agile project management to start to conduct syncs from now on.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
it's actually, we do have like a template. It's just a Google Doc with certain format of information in it. That's how we actually manage our projects. Okay, so
That
and
give,
I think that this is something I'd like to do actually today to maybe explain about the structure and how it actually works. But at the core, it's really very simple that at each sync, we try to identify what's the most important 20% of the work to be done and then
mhm.
focus on those things. Yep. So
Yeah,
it's a way to basically keep track and also help us to get, I guess, get the line to
yes.
the
No,
house.
that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it gives
Okay.
structure.
All right. Good. All right. So, all right, Victory. Can you hear us? Hello. Hi,
Good
Victory.
morning, everyone.
Yes. Okay. All
Hi,
right.
Victor.
Good.
Sorry. That
Hi.
was
So, yeah. Don't overwork yourself. Okay.
uh
Which you
sorry,
might do.
sorry. I think the network is breaking, Shunyan.
Okay. All right. Turn off. I'll turn off the video. Yeah. Okay.
All
That
right,
might help.
all right.
Okay. So yeah, so Victory, maybe you like to update. So what's the current updates and progress on your part? And feel
All
free to
right.
share anything you like.
Okay. Just let me share my screen then. Um, sorry, I'm looking for the share button. Screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Guess this is still a lot of work in progress. I'm trying to make this a bit bigger. Um, crap. Okay. So I just try to put on the key components
Okay.
of sort of what we're trying to accomplish. I think um I'm still trying to see if there's a way to integrate like diagrams or something that could come into the but the idea is over the next couple of months we want to develop a spatial, chat application. Well, when I say spatial, I'm basically saying like a spatial pops up and a chat application built over like a decentralized spatial pops up architecture. And the goal is to have this network nodes, for example, smartphones or your desktop computers, whatever they might be, communicate with one another over a decentralized network distribution as well as a spatial pubs of architecture.
Mhm.
And to successfully accomplish the goals, we have identified the following key steps. They should probably be in descending order now, and not this is more like an ascending order sort of thing. But the thesis, the proposal, the 10,000 simulated nodes, and the spatial, chat application. And then over the next 3 months, the priority will be to develop the spatial chat app. And the reason for this is it provides a foundation to build on where, development work can be built on top of the foundational, chat application, which has the backend stuff and the front end
Mhm.
stuff. And in terms of development goals, I think there are two key elements to that. There's the back end side, and then there's the sort of front end in terms of, we want the spatial, the pops up architecture up and running as well as the forwarding. While at the back end side, we want like the UI, the app that people are actually going to be seeing, someone that can sort of develop a front end tool or software,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Okay.
And in terms of the who's, well, again, I think this is not necessarily in ascending or descending order, but we definitely need a JS backend developer for API support.
Mhm.
Someone that it doesn't necessarily have to be JavaScript actually, but someone that sort of has an idea of what needs to come out from what's the standards being used for when they're developing APIs,
Mhm.
what are the
Okay.
outputs, what are the inputs for the plug and play support. We want a software engineer to, well, in this case, me, but just the person that develops the functional pub sub algorithm as well as the forwarding,
Mhm. Okay.
and then the front end developer as well to assist with the chat application, as well as the UI.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I know in software engineering we have, there are guys that sort of dedicate themselves to just the front end stuff. Even they also write code as well, but they don't necessarily worry about what's going on in the back. But they know how to integrate what do you call it? When they're given an API, they can connect to the API and it can develop an application that like a WhatsApp chat app that can do you know the stuff that people see,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
they can
Okay.
connect to the back end, but they don't know what's going on the back end. So
I
it's
see.
something like
Okay.
that. I think
All
I
right.
added
All
one
right.
more thing.
Nice.
Yeah, and maybe one. This might not be necessary, but I just added it in terms of a systems integrator. When I don't know if I know I've seen that on like LinkedIn systems integrator role. I'm not really sure if that's
Mhm.
what they do, though, but the
Okay.
idea is someone that can sort of bring the two systems together properly,
Okay.
in terms of, okay, we have this front end side for the app, and then we have the back end side for the architecture, and there's the guy that wants to connect both, but in terms of making sure it connects properly, in terms of the no making sure that the data points are mapped properly. um I think this is like something that person can do. And again, as to the details of that, I'm not really sure what that looks like yet. uh,
Okay.
but it's just there as a placeholder for now.
Okay. Nice. Nice. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Great. All right. So I guess Herman, any feedback on this? or questions?
Yeah, I guess part. Yeah, I think you've spoken about what it is that you want to achieve, and I think I think you've spoken about you kind of the people that you think needs to be involved, and I think you have the you think you have most of the roles there. Yeah. Um, I think some of the other things that may be needed here is a way of distributing the app. So you're going to have some kind of a website or something where people can download it, which explains what it is and which explains how to use it. So you probably need something like that as well. And probably something like a community forum or something like that. I mean, if you have something like a GitHub repository, then that can double as a place where people can download it and which explains how to use it. And maybe a forum where people can ask questions. That may be one other aspect which I think which is missing. And I think the other thing that I think would be needed is some kind of a milestones, like in the next 4 weeks you want this to be, what is the sequence in which these things need to happen? Do you need the back end? I mean, what do you need to be developed first? What needs to be in place before something else can be developed? What things can happen concurrently? Something like I don't necessarily want to say a Gantt chart because that says waterfall method, but maybe something which gives at least an idea of what the various problems are that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. Okay, great. So that's the feedback by Herman.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Okay, great. So I pretty much agree with Herman's about missing schedule. Okay, that's one thing. But the overall structure, I think is very nice. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Okay, so definitely a good job on that. And in terms of the who's, I think I mean, the integrator, that in my experience usually has been actually the front-end developer or the backend, but probably the front-end, because in the end you are producing some app, and it's usually the someone who is building the final deliverables, to sort of act in this integrator role. Okay, so oftentimes it may be the same person. It may not be a separate person, but it's nice to have the roles being defined this way. Okay. And the okay, and I guess my next question is: do you have people already in mind of who can fill these roles?
I do actually.
Okay, would you like to share who are the candidates?
One I have not spoken to yet. Let me see if I can find his profile quickly.
Okay.
To Samuel. This one has helped me in the past with like RESTful APIs.
Okay.
In terms of like developing, he developed a really sweet API. But when he developed it at the time, I remember I was quite young, so I didn't really understand what was going on. But it was like a good API developed on Heroku, I think, engines. But yeah, he at the time. Okay, let me see if it has. Okay, it doesn't have the but he could use he could develop APIs and he could integrate APIs with like front-end systems. But it looks like it's sort of added like styling. This was like it's more front-end now. But I'm thinking of speaking about him just to have an idea first if it's something you'll be interested in.
Okay, you know this person personally?
Yes, we went to the same high school.
Okay. Okay. So he's like your high school buddy?
He's like a high school buddy, yeah. So
really? Nice. Okay. Wow.
Assist with that.
Okay. Nice.
Also, I'm Tunisia as well with regards to just the JavaScript migration I know he has worked with C++ in the past,
Okay.
and I think C++ is it's slightly close to I hope I'm not wrong about that. Oh no, sorry, C++ is close to Python, not
Okay. Okay.
but
Yeah.
I want to find out from him if he sort of has an
Okay.
idea of
Okay.
how.
But I think probably fine. If he's a good software developer, he can learn any language in 2 days.
Oh,
I don't worry too much about the language specific things.
okay.
It's yeah. No wait. So going back to your who's. So who are the candidates on each of the roles? Can you just let us know?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yes, I will definitely confirm all of that. But I was also thinking of speaking to our leader as well, because I also
Okay.
understand that
Can
she's
can
working on
can you go
this.
back to the list of the roles? I mean the
Oh, okay.
roles. The roles. Yeah.
Um, where down there. Um, so with I know our leader is working on the using that for maybe like an Uber sort of application.
Okay.
I wanted to see in terms of what format she plans to use for from a back end to front end, like what do you call it, integration part.
Okay.
I'm thinking there might be something there in terms of maybe using the same framework or using one framework to support both the chat application as well as the Uber application, so that um, there's not like separate code bases, or I don't know if you get my point.
Yes. Yes.
But
It's the
she's
same
going to
same
have,
backend essentially.
yeah,
Same
yeah,
backend.
it's just gonna be supporting different applications. Um, but the idea is to sort of have like a consistent API framework. It doesn't have to be the same thing per se. So I want to sort of know if she has like any plans or structures in place already, if we can just follow that, or perhaps we can align on that. And then maybe if there's something she develops in the API, it's something we can use in ours. If there's something we do that she can use, but the idea is to sort of align with her on that from um, from a API perspective.
Okay.
Um,
And code reusability perspective.
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. So what role is that? I mean, which one are you thinking about for a leader
Um,
to play?
I think that's where the software engineer part of comes in terms of developing the functional pops up.
Okay, the functional pops up. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
functional pops up based on.
So what about the friend you mentioned? I mean, what role?
He would basically be the back the. I mean, that
Okay,
was
I
what
see the backend API. Okay, all
backend
right.
API.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
so he
Okay,
has done the
because
API in the past.
I
So
see he has API definition implementation experience, right?
yes, so it
Okay,
must be
all right.
actually RESTful applications. I
Okay,
remember
nice, nice, very
like a
nice. Okay,
JSON parsing, and yeah,
okay,
it was. He taught me about just what's the software that you use for testing. I
okay,
can't remember that
okay,
now,
all
but
right.
yeah, there
That's
was, yeah.
fine. All right.
Um,
And okay, go ahead.
so with regards to the front end, that's still a bit fuzzy.
Okay, okay.
I'm not sure who the best. I know the same guy, the same high school friend, can probably do something around that. I've seen him do some stuff, but
Okay.
it might be a lot of pressure on his
Mm-hmm.
side. I was
Okay.
perhaps thinking, perhaps the new guy that sort of just joined the team. I'm
Okay.
not
One
really sure.
Hao, right?
One how, yeah,
One Hao. Okay. All right.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not really
For
sure
for
what
that for this role, actually, I think you need someone who's like a good prototyper.
prototyping.
A
Yeah.
prototyper. Someone who can like basically churn out a usable application quickly.
Okay.
Okay. In the sense that they can actually build the interface, the user experience, right? Like
Yeah.
fairly quickly, and also adjust that accordingly as needed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, all right. So actually, I think Wenhao can probably do that. Okay, because
Okay.
he's done a few systems, basically the whole system from front to back. Although he's more experienced in the back end things, but
Okay.
basically building something that has a simple front end. I think that's also doable.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I think pretty much you have all your people then, right? What about Anisio?
Like,
What about Anisio?
yes.
Which one might he fit in among
So
these?
and maybe I should try to split this into like three components: the software engineering to developing this functional pub sub. I would also like Anizio to help with the functional part because
Okay.
he has
Okay.
sort
All
of
right.
been a part of the project from he understands what we're trying to accomplish
Mhm.
from an
From the
algorithm
beginning, right?
perspective.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So from a migration perspective, he probably will have insight from the get-go
Okay.
in terms
Okay.
of
All right.
the approach. We wouldn't
Okay.
have to find out
Nice.
the hard way, or there wouldn't be need to make too many mistakes because he can probably see the mistakes ahead of time
I
in
see.
terms of
Nice. Nice. Okay.
how
Good.
how how we should approach the problem. Yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. Okay. So I guess seems like to me it looks like the structure is we get the two more experienced people, Anisio
Yes.
and Alida, to actually work on the core, right? Because
Yes.
actually the second point is actually the core of this the
Cool.
whole application, right? And
Yes.
we can basically invite external expertise to
Yeah.
fulfill the API definition part, which might need
Yeah.
some experience, and also the application prototyping part, right?
Yes.
Which again, someone who has experience doing that would
Yeah.
probably help. Which
Yep.
Wenhao actually, I think, does have the relevant experience
Oh,
because
nice.
he's built like entire systems for schools, for universities. That
Oh, nice.
that's basically school information IT systems. Okay,
Okay.
and I'm not sure about his experience in terms of app development, but
Okay.
there are tools that can quickly turn a HTML or web into what's called a web app that can be used on mobile phone as well. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think he's a quick learner, so
Okay.
that's good. All right,
All right. No,
and
I think I've
the
heard about people like that.
right. Okay, good. So
I mean,
feedbacks from Herman.
Yeah, well, it sounds to me as well as if Victory has thought about all the people there. Yeah, I think I think like Wen Hao is also a good fit. It sounds good that he has actually developed a lot of systems for universities and schools. That's good. I think that's really good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would, yeah, I like the idea of having some kind of a web-based application that can also run, that runs on the phone because I think that allows us to also do some of the development, you know, not on a mobile. I mean, one thing which can, limit progress, I think, is if you want to test the thing that you have to deploy it to a mobile device each time and then run it and then see there's a bug and then have to recompile it and redeploy it and to retest it. So if there's something that you can, shorten that cycle, I think that would be good. And something like this
Right.
web
I
app
see.
sounds to me like it would be a good idea.
Yeah,
Um,
basically using web architecture, right, for pretty much the whole thing.
yeah,
And I mean, usually developing native apps, that's when you have performance issue, and when you really want to tailor-made the user experience and performance. But I think those can be at a much later stage. I think
yeah.
Victoria's dropped. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right.
Okay. All right. So I guess with we'll have to wait. But I think what I can do now quickly is to share what I had in mind in terms of the project management doc.
Cool.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So this is also going to be recorded. So I think we can ask Victoria to have a look.
Sorry,
All right.
guys.
Oh, all right,
My
all right. Okay.
electricity,
So,
it
all
went
right.
off completely.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. So one more thing, Victory, is that I think will be going into project development mode now, basically
Okay.
running a project. So I was just suggesting to Herman that maybe we can adapt the agile project management approach that we have
Okay.
used at my company,
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
And we have this simple form. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, all right. It's actually just a Google Doc, okay, that very simply, you can fill in some basic information. Usually you would define who's the product owner, who's the PM, okay, the test development, test environment, sync time, okay. And then here is the standard piece, okay, which is in order to capture fully the project, usually if this is like a client serving a customer, I mean, sorry, a team serving a customer, you might want to capture the client or the product owners, the problems to be solved, okay? The wants, the need, the expectation, and fear, okay? And just to quickly explain what these are, want is like, I want an iPhone, okay? I want the latest iPhone. I don't know what number is it, but you know, basically I want an iPhone. That looks nice, that's sleek, that's very useful. However, when asked about what do you need an iPhone for? Well, I need to call my parents, I need to call my kids, I need to write emails, okay? So we could discover that actually all you need is just a very simple Android phone, not an iPhone. Okay.
Okay.
Something like that. And then expectation is like, what do you expect to be done to get out of this? Okay. Like, what is the desirable goals, the results that's expected from this project? Okay. Usually, again, from the perspective of the product owner, okay, who's like the product owner of this. And then the fear, okay, the fear is essentially what's the concern. Like, well, for example, like it might not launch, the market may not accept, we could go over time or budget, right? Things like that, okay? Or people might drop out of project, right? Team might collapse, okay? Something like that, okay? And then after you capture these things, you would have a schedule, okay? Basically milestone, time, and task and subtask, okay? That's just a simple skeleton. And then it's the spec, okay? And spec usually is being presented in both sort of an overall requirement that can just be like a text description, which I think you already done that, you know, in your concept paper point. And then the functions, okay? And the functions can just be bullet points, essentially, like what needs to be done, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? However, what we will also do is to analyze like what's the order of things, because usually the features, the functions, they will probably have to occur at a specific order, right? Like A has to be done before B can be done, for example. Okay, so the order has to be, and the other thing is, this is not just a simple bullet list, but it's actually prioritized. Okay, so you should also try to figure out among all the things we want to accomplish, like what are the essential, basically the skeleton or the critical path, the main path that needs to be done, and highlight them as what's called the red items. Okay, so we prioritize things in red, which is the highest priority, blue, the next one, and black, which is, you can think of it as the must have, okay, the good to have, and the nice to have. Okay, nice to have is, you know, if we were to shoot for like 90, like 90%, you know, 95%, right? And the must have is kind of like the 60, 70, right? You have to get through that minimum, right? To get yourself pass. And then, the blue items, you can consider them as the 80s, right? The 70, 80s towards the 90, right? Okay, so is that clear so far?
Yeah.
I'm kind of giving you a crash course on the agile, how we do
Yeah,
things. And then this is called the feedback section. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this feedback. Okay, and I will provide this doc. So the feedback is just a daily, task list, and according to different members. And then basically just assign among all the things, from the spec, what do we do? You can think of this as the backlog, like the backlog of all the things. And then every day we just sync and we decide, we review, right? We review the progress, we, share the blocks, and then mention what's the next point, the next task. And also to determine what's the first priority for each member, the red item, and the second priority, the blue item.
Nice.
Okay, so this basically is what we do at each sync. And we try to identify what's the most important 20%, okay, of the work to be done. Okay, that is aligned with the most, yes, that it, using the 20/80 rule, right?
Oh, okay.
Of all the things to be done, right? There's probably something, like a couple of things most important, okay? Which is true for the whole project, but also true for individual participants.
All right.
Okay, so this is a list that gets updated at each sync. Okay. Okay. Nice. So this is a very simple structure, and what I like to, if you agree, is to okay, Victor, you can start to adopt, just using this template to fill in the information above, and then we can start to sync using this format. Okay, so each sync will simply be looking at this sheet, and then just to go over it, what's the latest, and ask members to update, and then go over it. Okay, so all right, so what do you think? I guess any questions, feedbacks so far?
It makes sense.
Okay, all right.
I like this. Just to confirm, in terms of the test environment, I'm guessing those are links to, for example, if you're on GitHub, there's repository for development.
Okay. These are mainly for people who join the projects, because also note that the project could continue, right? And people could join and leave, right, at different times. So we want to sort of have a central place where all the resources, relevant information are in a single place, right? So if people join, they can quickly get on board to know what's going on now and how they can participate. Okay. All right, so a couple of things to confirm. I think for the product owner, okay, this has to be played by someone. And I'm thinking about Herman. What do you think?
No, that sounds good.
To be the product owner, right? Because essentially, this is usually the boss, and the person who pays the check and who creates all the demands. So you have to figure out what Herman's and I think Victory, you will be the PM, the project manager.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're probably the PM's role. So note that even though if you might do some development or design, but your primary role in this should be the project manager. Okay, to basically coordinate everybody's efforts, okay, towards the common goal. So I think the first task is to figure out the problems, the want, need, expectation, fear for Herman. Okay, and then make a schedule, and also list the spec to the best of your knowledge. Okay, and then and then we can start to use this to communicate with the rest of the team members about what to do. Okay. All right. So this, I think, should be what we will be reviewing next Monday. Okay.
All right.
And if smoothly, then we will already have some people starting to onboard, okay, and then we can start to assign the first task items for
Yes.
people. Okay, that would be the best scenario. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I guess any questions so far?
Yeah, it's looking good.
Sounds good.
Or is it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right.
Hello.
But you've muted yourself, Shinyu. Oh, someone's phoning in. I think.
Oh, just I see.
What we are trying to accomplish, and I'm trying to figure out the workable, I guess, schedule for each person. Okay, we don't necessarily need to have everybody to sync synchronously because due to time zone, due to differences. But I think we can sync on this document. You see, we can use this as a shared document to sync, and then everybody can watch the video replay as well. Okay. So if we can
Cool.
get, like Wenhao or Alida to sync, like with our sync time, that's best. But even if not, as long as you can coordinate with them about the daily progress and updates, that should be fine too.
Makes sense.
All right.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. Okay. All right. So I guess talk to you guys tomorrow then. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
At 9.
All right.
Thanks so
Okay.
much,
All right.
Shanyan.
So yeah,
Thanks,
take care.
Professor
Take
Harman.
care. Yeah. Look forward to it. Okay. All right. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.